Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we are talking about TikTok because I'm asking the question, could this be the end of TikTok here in the United States? Now, this is coming from Engadget and other sources. I actually linked one of these yesterday to get the conversation rolling, but I wanted to get my thoughts out on this as well. Now, who we're talking about here initially is Brendan Carr. He is the senior Republican commissioner over at the FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, and he's not a fan of TikTok. Now, 2 days ago, he wrote this on Twitter, and I quote, "TikTok is not just another video app. That's the sheep's clothing. It harvests swaths of sensitive data that new reports show are being accessed in by Beijing. I've called upon Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores for its pattern of surreptitious data practices." Yay. Now, he also referenced a recent BuzzFeed report that basically examined leaked audio from 80 internal TikTok meetings. I did an entire video on that. I'm going to be talking about that on next week's radio show. Now, based on those leaked audio recordings, if you remember basically my thing, or if you've read about it, Chinese-based employees of TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, have repeatedly accessed the private information of users here in the United States. That's obviously deeply, deeply concerning. In his letter, though, Carr listed other reports showing, quote, "concerning evidence and determinations regarding TikTok's data practices," end quote. That include previous instances wherein researchers discovered that the app could circumvent Android and iOS, that's the operating system that runs Apple, basically the safeguards to access users' sensitive data. I did a report on that one as well. He also cited TikTok's 2021 decision to pay a $92 million settlement to basically due to dozens of lawsuits, mostly from minors, accusing it of collecting their personal data without consent and selling it to advertisers. Did one on that as well. Now, he's also giving Apple and Google until July 8th to explain why they aren't moving the app from their stores, basically if they are refusing to do that. Now, that said, Carr was basically the letter's lone signee, and it doesn't look like any of the other FCC commissioners are involved, meaning he's just outraged on this. He's taking this upon himself. And basically, they are obviously, there's multiple requests in for comment from the FCC, not just from Engadget, but from everything else. Now, first things first. I've got to say, absolutely everything he referenced in his letter, I have done a video and podcast on. I actually went back and checked, and I've done actually more than what he references as well. I've also talked about this extensively on my nationally syndicated radio show. I am not a fan of TikTok, so I owe Brendan a shelf of drinks on this one if I ever meet this dude. Now, I'm not naive to the political situation or the machinations here of situations like this, but if it helps move the ball forward for privacy and cyber hygiene for the United States and anybody that's using TikTok, I am a supporter of this. When President Trump back in the day tried to get this banned, I was a fan of that, even though I understood he was ramping up a trade war with China. If this is going to happen under the Biden administration, I'm also a fan of this as well. But this also, for the record, does not actually get rid of TikTok totally. If they basically remove it from, Apple and Google's app stores respectively, this is still going to be installed on millions of computers, mobile phones, but it does mean a couple of different things. First, it's going to have a slow death, meaning as those users go ahead and say, I'm going to trade in my iPhone whatever for the new iPhone whatever, or Android to Android, basically you're not going to be able to re-download this as well. Therefore, and the second point I've got is that used phones with TikTok are going to sell for a premium, or people will hold onto their phones longer, meaning that then puts Apple and Google in a bind, as essentially nobody is going to buy the new phones because essentially they want to keep using TikTok. Social media platforms are addictive. We've known that for years. TikTok is no different. And so there you go. If you recall the Flappy Bird situation, people were selling phones for thousands of dollars just because it had Flappy Birds installed on it. So this basically means that Google and Apple are in tough positions for a couple of different things. And as an example of this, recent reports have shown, and I was almost going to do a video on this today until I remember the whole TikTok thing, Tim Cook of Apple was just in China basically singing the authoritarian praises of the communist state in Beijing, in China, according to reports, and Google also bends over backwards to censor their products there, meaning if you go to google.cn and type in Tibet, you're not getting information on, let's say, the Free Tibet movement. Beijing could also come down rather hard on them for this. And so Apple and Google have a hard line to walk. They are working as hard as they can to get into the world's largest population, and there is a massive market. The biggest Apple store I've ever seen in my entire flippin' life that could literally fit other Apple stores into was in the Wangfujing district of Beijing, China. I was personally, there was like 4 or 5 floors. It was huge. Apple has a massive presence. Google has a massive presence. And if Beijing is looking at the largest surveillance app that they have on millions of American phones, where they're scraping, collecting, and reviewing this data, Beijing's not going to be happy to lose that avenue for surveillance here in the United States. So we're going to see what happens with this. This is your news of the day. I am all for banning it, even, again, political machinations aside. If this improves our cyber hygiene and our privacy, and the general population is aware of just how dangerous foreign-made apps, especially when they're from adversarial governments to the United States or wherever you are, if they're more informed on this, I think that's a win. So there you go. That's your news of the day. Let me know what you think. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everyone.